Since the dawn of humanity, questions about the origin of the universe and the creation of life have fascinated and intrigued human beings. The biblical account of the creation of the world, found in the book of Genesis, is a narrative that offers a powerful and inspiring vision of how everything began. We will explore the rich and detailed description of creation as described in the opening pages of the Bible, presenting a tale that captivates the imagination and evokes a profound sense of wonder and reverence. The first day, the light of creation. In the beginning, before time existed, there was only primordial chaos and deep darkness. The book of Genesis opens with a majestic and all-encompassing declaration, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth," in Genesis 1:1. This statement establishes God as the supreme and sovereign architect of the universe, whose word has the power to bring everything into existence. The first divine command was an invocation to light, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Genesis 1:3. With this simple yet powerful declaration, darkness was dispelled and light emerged, bringing clarity and separation between day and night. God saw that the light was good, and this act of creation marked the beginning of the first day. The introduction of light symbolizes the triumph of order over chaos and the inherent goodness of divine creation. The second day, the creation of the firmament. On the second day, God turned his attention to the watery chaos covering the earth, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Genesis 1:6. With this command, God created the firmament, which separated the waters below from the waters above. This firmament was called heaven, and thus God established the structure of the cosmos, separating the celestial waters from the terrestrial waters. Order and structure continued to develop, setting the stage for the life that was to come. The third day, land and vegetation. On the third day, creation continued to expand with the formation of dry land and seas. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. Genesis 1:9. God called the dry land earth and the gathering of the waters seas. With the dry land exposed, God caused all forms of vegetation to spring forth. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind. Genesis 1:11. Verdant hills, lush forests, and blooming fields appeared, filling the world with color and life. Each plant was created with the ability to reproduce, ensuring the continuity of creation. The fourth day, sun, moon, and stars. On the fourth day, God adorned the heavens with celestial lights. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years." Genesis 1:14. God created two great lights, the sun to rule the day and the moon to rule the night. Additionally, he made the stars, dotting the night sky with countless points of light, each serving as a silent witness to God's creative power. These lights not only provided illumination but also marked the passage of time, allowing for the orderly transition of seasons, days, and years. The fifth day, life in the seas and skies. On the fifth day, God's attention turned to the waters and skies. And God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." Genesis 1:20. With this declaration, the oceans were filled with a diversity of marine life, fish, whales, dolphins, and all creatures that inhabit the depths. Simultaneously, the skies were filled with birds of every color and size, each flying with grace and freedom. God blessed these creatures, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." Genesis 1:22. The proliferation of marine and avian life brought movement and sound to the newly created world, adding a new dimension of beauty and complexity. The sixth day, animals and the creation of man. The sixth day marked the culmination of God's creative work. First, he created the land animals. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle, creeping things, and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." Genesis 1:24. The earth became alive with the presence of all forms of animal life, from giant elephants to tiny insects, each with a unique role in the ecosystem. The seventh day, God's rest. After 6 days of intense creative activity, God concluded his work on the seventh day. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Genesis 2:2. This rest was not due to exhaustion, but symbolized the completeness and perfection of creation. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, establishing it as a day of rest and reflection, a pattern for humanity to follow. The narrative of creation in the book of Genesis is more than a mere account of events. Each element of the story carries profound meanings and symbolisms that reflect the nature of God and his relationship with creation. The separation of light from darkness, land from waters, and the organization of cosmic elements reflect God's order and intentionality. Each step of creation was declared good by God, underscoring the inherent goodness of his work. The creation of man in God's image reveals the intrinsic value of humanity and our unique capacity to reflect the divine character. This concept of Imago Dei, image of God, establishes a foundation for human dignity and morality, highlighting our role as stewards of creation. The story of creation cannot be fully understood without considering the subsequent chapter, the fall of man. Genesis 3 describes how Adam and Eve, seduced by the serpent, disobeyed God's command and ate the forbidden fruit. This act of disobedience brought sin and death into the world, corrupting the original perfection of creation. However, even amidst judgment, God promised a Redeemer who would restore humanity and creation. The story of creation is ultimately a story of hope. From the beginning, God had a plan to redeem creation and reconcile all things to himself. The coming of Jesus Christ, as prophesied throughout the Old Testament, is the fulfillment of this promise. Christ is the second Adam, who lived a perfect life of obedience and sacrificed himself to redeem humanity. The narrative of creation in Genesis finds its climax in the promise of a new creation. In the book of Revelation, we read about the vision of a new heaven and a new earth, where God will dwell with his people in perfect communion. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God." Revelation 21:3. This hope of final renewal inspires believers to live in faith and expectation, knowing that the story of creation is still unfolding and that God's purpose will be fully realized. The story of creation remains a central theme in theology and Christian reflection. It not only offers an explanation for the origin of the universe, but also establishes a worldview that influences ethics, morality, and the understanding of humanity's role in the world. In an era of scientific advancements and cosmological discoveries, Christian theologians continue to explore the compatibility and implications of the biblical creation narrative with contemporary scientific knowledge. The story of the creation of the world in Genesis is a narrative that transcends time and space, offering a profound and inspiring vision of the beginning of everything. From the creation of light to God's rest on the seventh day, every detail reflects the majesty and wisdom of the Creator. This story not only captivates the imagination, but also evokes a response of reverence and worship. The creation narrative calls us to recognize God's goodness, value life, and fulfill our purpose as caretakers of creation. Ultimately, the story of creation points us to the hope of redemption and the new creation, where all things will be restored and where God will dwell with us forever.